with amendment presently. Members, we now come to the Coroners' Access to Body of Dead Person Amendment Bill. The question is that Clause 1 stand part. Point of order, Kieran McAnulty.
Mr Chair, I seek leave for all provisions to be taken as one debate.
Leave is sought for that purpose. Is there any objection? Appears to be not. The question is, the question is that clauses 1 to 4 stand part. I call Nuk Korako.
I want to take a short call on the Coroner's Access to Body of Dead Persons Amendment Bill and agree, obviously this side of the House agrees with the fact that this should be taken as one. I think the important thing is just to say with this particular bill that kotahitaka is very prevalent right across the House for this bill. And so it does make perfect sense to update the coronial legislation and particularly Section 26 of the Coroners Act to require explicitly that the coroner considers tikanga Māori and the expectations also, sir, of other ethnicities when determining who can touch, view or remain with the tūpāpaku or the dead body. It's kaiwhakahaere, there was also the recommendation from the Māori Affairs Committee of the 50, it went through, first of all, a lot of the heavy lifting and work was done in the 51st Parliament by the Committee Whiriwhiri Take Māori, but also to reinforce what we're actually doing here at the moment is that the Māori Affairs Committee of the 52nd Parliament also noted that the bill should be passed without amendment. I think just as a point of consideration is that from the 51st Parliament there was a full list of recommendations for this particular bill. And when we look at those recommendations, there was a consideration first around the code of best practice that balances cultural considerations with the public interest in finding the cause of death. The second consideration was to consider implementing a formal communication process between the first responders, coronial services with whānau that incorporates tikanga Māori and the expectations of other cultures. There was another part around considering amending Section 26 of the Coroners Act 2006 to require the coroner to also consider tikanga Māori and the expectations of other cultures when determining whether someone should be allowed to remain with the tūpāpaku. And it's actually that particular part of this bill which was the amending of that sort of Section 26. So the other parts were considering implementing a national standard for assessing and managing tūpāpaku that supports tikanga Māori and the expectations of other cultures in Aotearoa, New Zealand. There was also a recommendation to consider increasing the resources allocated to coronial services and associated agencies and implementing minimum standards in the mortuaries. Next part was to facilitate establishing an appropriate place for whānau to initially receive tūpāpaku entering New Zealand international airports. Now, this particular recommendation e te kaiwhakahaere was only acknowledged actually. It wasn't accepted, but it was actually acknowledged. The other one, which this one was rejected, I just want to have this recorded in the Hansard, that there was a recommendation also that we consider a review of the practice regarding co-sleeping situations resulting in sudden unexpected death in infancy and the current decision-making process followed by the police when deciding whether to prosecute these cases. This one, e te kaiwhakahaere, was actually rejected. So on that note, what I think we have all come across or come together in that spirit of kotahitanga to ensure that this bill can actually continue its journey through from this process to the third reading. Can I acknowledge also the Minister and the Chair as well for the excellent work that he has done in shepherding this particular legislation through. Nō reira, huri noa te whare nei, tēnā koutou, e mihi atu ki a koutou katoa, āpiti hono tātai hono rātou ki te honga mate, ki te honga mate ki a rātou, āpiti hono tātai hono, tātou ki te honga ora, ki a tātou. Kia ora.
I call Reno Tirikātene.
Tēnā koe, Mr Chair. I too want to acknowledge